Okay, we're going to do the rest of our problems here, and we've already done the other side of this worksheet with these notes here, and these are the kind of angles we're going to talk about. So first I just want to go through and name which kinds we have. This first one here makes a right angle, so this is complementary. So they add to 90 degrees. I'm just going to make a note as I decide which kind each one of these is. This is from the previous side, it was complementary. This one here, they're the ones across from each other. What kind is that? Well, that's our vertical angles here, and what we know about vertical angles is that they're equal to each other, that they're congruent. So these are vertical angles, and they're congruent. Here, these make a straight line, so these are supplementary angles. And we know they add to 180. This next one, it says the magic phrase here, bisects. Bisects, I know from the previous part, bisects cuts it into two equal parts. So what I know is that this part is equal to this part, or each of these is half of the big one. So here, I know it's a bisector, it's cut into equal parts. So it means these two parts are congruent. These two parts are going to be equal to each other. The next one here also has our magic word, a bisector, and it tells me DEF, this whole thing, let's see, DEF, this part is 3x plus 1. DEG, which is the whole thing, is 5x plus 19. So I know that this one is going to be the same as this one because it's a bisector. So this is also going to be 3x plus 1. So when I add these together, it'll equal the big one. Then we have our ones with our transversals. This was the ones that we talked about right here on the previous side. So this is in the exterior. If we look back at our notes, these are on the exterior, and they're on alternate sides, opposite sides, so I know those are congruent to each other. So these are alternate exterior angles, and they're congruent. And then this one, these are on the interior. They're on the inside, they're the interior, and they're on the same side of the line here, so those two are going to be supplementary. So these two are same side interior, and they're going to be supplementary. Alright, so now we've kind of gone through and looked at what this is, I'm going to write down what each equation is, pause the video, write down what each equation is, and then come back and check. Okay, I previously went through and kind of set up and told you what kind of problem each one is, and you should have paused the video and done your best to see if you could write the equations out. If I know these add up to 90, it's this plus this equals 90. That's the equation. So I wrote it down, and then I'm going to quickly go through how to solve it, and you should pause and rewind the video if I'm going too fast. So we combine the x's. This is all on one side of the equal sign, so I'm just combining them. X plus x is 2x. Then I minus the 30 on both sides. This cancels. I get 60. Then we divide both sides by 2 to get x equals 30. To check it, just plug it back in here. That would make this one 30. And this one 30 plus 30 is 60. Do those add up to 90? They do. We got it right. It takes like 1 second to plug the x back in and see if it came out right. The next problem was this one over here. Let me get to it. This one. And that's a vertical angle question. And we said that vertical angles are congruent. Vertical angles are the ones like this. So I set up that those are equal to each other. This one equals this one. I subtracted the x. Now these are on opposite sides of the equal sign, so I have to do the same thing on both sides. Minus 2x on both sides. Bring these other parts down. This is 3x. That cancel. Bring these down. Then add the 2 on both sides. These cancel. Bring it down. Divide by 3, and I get x equals 7. You can plug it back in to check. Let's see. 5 times 7 is 35, minus 2 is 33. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 19 is 33. Takes 1 second to check this. Alright, the next one was supplementary because they make a straight line, so we know they add up to 180. So it's this plus this equals 180. And again, these are all on one side of the equal sign, so now I'm just combining them. The x's go together to make 5x. 20 minus 10 makes 10. Then I subtract the 10 from both sides and get 5x equals 170 and divide by 5, and I get 34. Plug it back in to see if it works out. And finally, my last one was a bisector, and we said that means it's cut into 2 equal parts. So I know this part has to equal that part. So I set that up, minus the 1 on both sides. Then I need to divide by 4, and I got my final answer. Again, just plug it in. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 1, 33. We got it right. Takes 1 second to check. You can even plug it into your calculator. 4 times 8 plus 1, see if you get that. All right. The next set we had another bisector, but this problem was slightly different than the one we just did, because here they didn't give me both little ones, they gave me a little one and a big one. We filled these in from up here when we did the earlier part of the video, and what we said was, I knew this part, and I know it's a bisector, so that means these two parts are equal. So if this is 3x plus 1, this is 3x plus 1. So I have this part plus this part equals this part. Now, remember, I need to combine the stuff that's on the same side. So 3x and 3x makes 6. 1 and 1 makes 2. Now I'm dealing with stuff on both sides of the equal sign. So now I want to do the same thing on both sides. Minus the 5x to give me 1x. Bring this down, minus the 2, and I get 17. The next one was an alternate exterior angles, which I know are congruent to each other, which means this equals this. I set that up. These are on opposite sides of the line, so I need to minus the 3y on both sides. And I get 4y, bring this down, then plus the 55 because it's already minus. Add that up, 108, then divide by the 4, and we finally get 27. Again, you can plug it in to see if it works out. And our last one was a same side interior, which means that these are supplementary. That means that they add up to 180. So this plus this equals 180. Notice these are all on the same side of this equal sign over here, so on that side I just need to combine the ones that go together. X plus x is 2x, and 75 plus 125 is 200. Then I'm working on the two different sides of the equal sign, so I need a minus on both sides. This does become negative 20, 2x equals negative 20, and I get negative 10. The negative, you might think, I don't know if that's right or not, but let's plug it in. I plug it in here and I get 65. I plug it in here and I get 115. Do those add up to 180? Like they are supposed to? Yes, they do, so we got the right answer. All right, that's it for your review for the retest.